Hey, on this episode of Samp&Chance Wrestling, we are going to preview the Elimination Chamber, last stop, Perth, Australia, before WrestleMania. What happens here will determine a lot what we're going to get for WrestleMania. Also, Collision, Dynamite, AEW, Sting's last match, March 3rd. All this and so much more coming up on this episode of Samp&Chance. So, guys and gals, strap in and let's get the show started. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance Wrestling. I am your host, Bobby Sampson. Joined with me, as always, my man in the Everlast shirt, Mr. Chance. Michael's Chance, how are you, buddy?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad, man. Not bad at all. Here we are, Tuesday. We are basically a few days away from the Elimination Chamber, which is really interesting here. I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to play out. Not just because of the card, but because of the time difference. We're getting this on the West Coast at 2 a.m., 5 a.m. on the East Coast. So they're not catering to the North American market at all. They're doing this in real time in Australia. It starts at 6 p.m. there. Your thoughts on such a big pay-per-view being shown so late in North America?
Good for the people in Australia and the people in that time zone. I mean, for people in North America, nobody's going to watch it live. You'll have a PVR and you'll watch it in the morning. I mean, unless you're a die-hard, especially in the West Coast, unless you're a die-hard wrestling fan, nobody's staying up at 2 in the morning to watch the thing. And it's going to be down to 5, 6 in the morning, basically pulling it over. It's not happening. You know, most people just DVR it and watch it when you get up.
Yeah,
which sucks because you're going to get the alerts and spoilers to your phone, but nobody's watching it at 2 in the morning. Not in North America, no way.
Well, I mean, it's a tough one too, right? I mean, it's nice that, the other markets are getting their fair share because a lot of the times, like even up until recently, a lot of the UFC stuff that was happening in Abu Dhabi would be happening Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Or boxing matches would be happening Sunday morning in Australia in order to facilitate the fan base out here. I think that's more so with boxing that makes sense because of the people who might be participating. For example, when Haney was fighting Kambosos, it made more sense to do it at the Sunday morning, considering that Haney was the bigger name. And, that just made more sense for them to do it that way. But with wrestling, and we've said this on the show so many times, Chance, that we're not the only market that's catered to, right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that they're showing that.
And why should the fans who are paying good money for a ticket in Australia have to go at some weird time? 6 p.m. is a perfect time for them. They're the ones paying for the tickets to be there live. They should be catered to first instead of making them go there at like 9 in the morning or something to cater to us.
Yeah, so, no, 100%. I think, the smart thing for everyone to do, and we'll give you hints, is turn off your alerts, man. If you don't want to know what happens and you want to be able to watch the show without spoilers, just stay off your phone.
The sad part about this show, I think it's going to be one of the most easy, most predictable shows we're ever going to see here. I think all the favorites are going to. We'll get into that. We break it down, but I don't think there'll be too much surprises here.
Well, I mean, maybe not, but like I said, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, man. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's talk AEW. Let's just get that going right away. Dynamite last week, we had Moxley against Dax Harwood to start off the show. Pretty hard-hitting affair. I mean, these guys didn't go soft. I think that's the one thing I've noticed with AEW a lot, that they do a lot more of the strong style kind of
trying to, yeah.
But that's the style they kind of portray a lot. You look at a lot of the guys in there, maybe they're a little bit younger and they can, do that with their body a bit more, but strong style seems to be the predominant style that most of these guys work with, even at all levels, I've noticed, you know what I mean? But Moxley, man, he looks good, but, it just kind of, how much more can he do, like, with this body?
I think it's too much, John Moxley. He started off Dynamite, coming to the crowd, this crazy guy. He started off Collision. Like, first of all, I thought these guys must be separate. Moxley shouldn't be on Collision, but he's on Collision and Dynamite. I don't know. I think it's a little too much Moxley starting off all the shows. And I get it, he's one of their big stars, but I thought it was a little overboard with Moxley on the AEW this week, personally.
Well, with Moxley, the one thing is that they've really put a lot of solace and expectation on him. Example, when the first whole thing with CM Punk happened and everything, the guy was supposed to go on vacation, but they asked him to cancel it because they needed him because they didn't have anyone to fill in. So Mock seems to be that guy that their go-to guy right now in terms of like, oh, you need to save us, or Daniel O'Brien in those situations. You know what I mean? Like they're not
But
really relying on Chris Jericho anymore per se to
he's
do
too
those
old.
kind of spots.
Too
But
old.
yeah. But
The
let's
one
move
thing
on.
about AEW and WWE, we need to stop the nonsense. Raw's exclusive brand, SmackDown's exclusive brand, Dynamite and Collision. It's all crap. These guys show up on all the shows. Get rid of this branding. It never sticks. It's so fake, so phony. Stop it. Let's let the guys show up on any show as needed for the story, because it's so cheesy how they do it. Both companies are guilty of it. I've been saying that for years. It's just stop it. They all come on the shows. Why even they think we're idiots? You know, just say, hey, you're gonna come when we come, and if you're invited on, you invited off. Sign you exclusively to this, and they show up on the next show.
Well, I think for the
Silly.
most part, majority of the guys stick to their brands. It's probably the top names that you're probably referring to that kind of jump
Yeah.
around a bit more. But for the most part, your mid-carders and everyone else are all on their show. They don't really jump around. I get what you're saying, bro, but sometimes you kind of need to do that in order to promote the show, right?
I get it. They should just stop doing that and just have everybody show up when you want.
Right.
That's what I think.
Well, with WWE right now, I think with Elimination Chamber happening, and because it's a mix chamber with guys from Raw or SmackDown, so to speak. So I mean, it's that kind of makes it hard. But I know what you're saying. I
Yeah.
get it. But to be fair, I think they've done a pretty, at least from the WWE perspective, I think they've done a fairly good job with the brands, for the most part. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But
Another thing I got to point out, like I say it every week, I keep saying it, the commentating on AEW is by far so much superior to WWE. Even last night, Pat McAfee, in that shirt from 1982, he's wearing that ugly collared shirt. He's standing on top of the announce table. He's dancing. He's goofing around. He just looks like he's like a drunk frat boy. You know what I mean? Just acts like an idiot, looks like an idiot, and
I get it.
It's a refreshing to listen to AEW's play-by-play.
Brother, here's the thing, man. Honestly, I mean, I know where you're coming from. I get it. I'm not being argumentative with you here, but I'm probably going to be argumentative. Dude, we got to keep in mind the crowd that they're catering to now, right? It's not our crowd anymore.
That. No,
right, but it's not our crowd anymore.
It's just so, he just is so fake and he's so contrived. And it's so
I like him. I enjoy him. To be honest, I enjoy Pat McAfee. I do get it.
Pat McAfee is one of the most overrated people in anything. He was a kicker in the NFL. I get it. And then he had a little talk show. He's got a larger life personality. But if you actually listen to the guy's talk show, which I've done many times because he comes on before my favorite talk show host of all time, listen to him every day for 3 hours. The guy's not very knowledgeable about any subject he talks about. He just kind of goes and he's kind of funny, he's flamboyant, he's loud, and he acts cool like a drunk frat boy. But if you actually listen to the guy talk, he doesn't really know much.
Well,
and that's why some of the other hosts are kind of knocking him a little bit, like when he talks football. So
each of their own, man. But I mean, I think again,
I get he's popular. I get why they bring him in, but like, holy crap, he wouldn't be doing that stuff if Vinny was in Gorilla. Like, he'd say, hey, chill out.
I get it. But keep in mind, and I'll go blue in the face with this
wrestling's for kids. I get all that,
right?
But there's a way the way you can still be cool to the kids without acting like a buffoon every night. Everybody's the greatest, the best he's seen. Like, it's too much. It's kind of like Mauro Ranallo and Tony Romo. Everybody's the greatest. Everything is the best, and you tune it out after a while because it's just you don't believe the guy anymore.
All right. Well, fair enough, man. We will agree to disagree. I mean, it's never ending. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, the wrestling we loved doesn't exist anymore.
No, wrestling's for kids. I get it. I get what they're doing, right? But even when I'm watching with my kid and his friends, like, dude, this is ridiculous. So it's I just don't understand the guy.
So what would your solution be then, bro? Not to put you on the spot. What do you do?
Anybody, any other commentator about Pat McAfee? I would rather prefer Wade Barrett, anybody over him, because he's dancing on the table and he's dressing like a fool. I get it, he's trying to be a larger than life character. I get what he's doing, but it's Pat McAfee is just not a wrestling commentator. That's just my take.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We will leave it there. There. All right. So we got Sting. His final match is coming up here on in the beginning of March, March 3rd, I believe. Probably going to be defending those tag team titles against the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, man. Let's talk about them for a couple minutes. Do you think they would be better off if they ever came to the WWE, or do you think they've done well enough for themselves that they don't need the WWE?
Well, everybody needs the WWE because that's the biggest stage. That's like going to NFL or NHL. So whoever says they don't need to go to the WWE, I don't believe them because that's the biggest stage. Why wouldn't you know? That's like saying I want to play college football only and never want to go to the NFL. that doesn't make sense, right? So they would be better off in WWE, but they are the perfect AEW wrestlers. They look like AEW guys. They flip around like AEW guys. They're built like AEW guys. So I think they're in the perfect spot. But of course, if they were in WWE, they'd be
because they've avoided it. They avoided
the
it
biggest stage.
so much. They've avoided going there. They've turned it down. They don't want to go there. Do you think they'll ever show up there?
Yeah, they will come there eventually. I think cost themselves a lot of money by doing that. Eventually, they'll come there.
Fair enough. All right,
they're like the anti-authority. They're like that punk rock band, at the local bar that's too cool to go to the big show, and they just kind of stay indie until they realize, oh crap, my bank account's getting low, and they'll come there one day.
Well, I mean, they do come from the school of CM Punk in terms of straight edge, so it's kind of interesting to think that the guys that he fought with were just as straight edge as him. So straight edge guys don't seem to be able to get along together, it seems, eh?
Well, yeah, they're grumpy guys, but and that's what I'm glad you brought that up. Look at the guys CM Punk's fighting. Young Bucks are built like little kids. They can't defend themselves. They're skin and bones. He's picking on little guys. You've never heard of CM Punk fighting a guy his size. He's always a little guys. Darby Allin's and Young Bucks. Like, come on, dude.
So when it comes to straight edge, do you think maybe if they had a drink, they just chill out a bit?
I think so. Yeah. I think they should also have a shot of scotch and see how they feel.
And now this will let us know if people are actually listening to the show. Do you think Muslims would be chiller if they had some bacon once in a while?
I'm not sure about that, but
you know what I mean, right? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
You take so much away from everybody. Of course, they're going to be grumpy, and the people that are the happiest are the ones that live free.
Absolutely, always.
Right? I mean, living free within limitation, mind you, not being an ass about it or over, being free, sort of a deal.
Absolutely.
But you know what I mean? It's just like if you look at people who are grumpy, if you look at denominations that are grumpy, it's because of probably all the things that they can't do.
Yeah. And speaking of Young Bucks, we always said Sting will never come to WWE. Sting will never come to WWE. He didn't come to 13, 14 years after Vinny bought it, but he did come. So the Young Bucks will come one day if they stay relevant.
If they stay relevant. There we go. I'm still waiting to hear. MJF has been pretty quiet. I'm curious to know what's going on with him. We haven't really heard a peep out of him. So, if anyone knows what's happening with MJF, let us know. Yeah. All right, man, it's time to move over to the Juggernaut. Let's see what's going on in the world of WWE. Last night's Raw was the go-home show for the Elimination Chamber being held in Perth this Saturday. But before that, let's go to SmackDown very quickly and just take a quick look at that promo that happened at the end of the show. Rock coming out, 1998 Rock emerged. Calling people fat, insulting the crowd, everything you're not allowed to do today. The Rock just let it fly, man. It was refreshing to see 98 Rock.
It was. It just sucks it had to come the way it came, for the fans to cry and chant on the internet to force Rock to become the bad guy. It's supposed to be Rock and Roman. The Cody crybabies forced this to happen. Now we are going to get Roman and Cody again for a second year in a row. It's sad that they caved to the Cody crybabies and let them dictate the show. The Marks run wrestling, especially with the new regime in charge. But yeah, it's great to see what he was doing. He wore that $500 shirt again, and he's out there talking smack. The thing is, The Rock is not quite as popular as he once was. He is early 50s now. He doesn't really resonate quite as much with the Cody crybaby fans. But I loved it. Guys like us, we loved it.
But he's bringing back all of us.
That's the thing. That's what I like. Right? No, I love what he's doing.
You're still gonna.
The only thing is, I feel bad for Roman, because when Roman's standing there, he just looks like a mid-card guy. Like The Rock is a larger than life superstar, one of the greatest of all times. And here's Rock ripping promos. Roman couldn't even talk 1/10 of good as the Rock could talk, and he's just dominating the bloodline, because he's just, when The Rock's there, he's the number one star in the ring, right? And I feel bad for Roman because he just looks so nonchalant.
What's kind of funny, you look at Roman standing,
but I love what The Rock is doing. I love it.
Yeah, but you look at Roman standing beside him. I mean, geez, thank God they're not testing. Good thing they're not testing in the WWE, right? I mean, he looks small in front of The Rock right now. The Rock's just massive. But I think they're planting the seeds for that match eventually to happen. I think it might probably go down at like a SummerSlam or something now. But they are planting the seeds. You can tell that they're going to do something with this.
Yeah, you can feel the tension building. One of them will turn on the other one, and
Well, I think Rock will. Rock will end up turning on them, and you'll probably get this match at SummerSlam. But I like the way they're doing it. They're selling it the right way. Yeah, I get it. I know what you're saying, but the way they're doing it, it seems pretty decent. So Raw itself, though, but the promo was fun. I really enjoyed it.
It was
Right?
good.
I know it was fun.
Isn't it
You
funny
just,
that the guy's in his early 50s and he comes back for all these years away? He's still the best talker in the company. Nobody can cut a promo like Rock in there. Who can even come close to him? If you
well,
listen
I
to
mean,
Cody and
when
Roman
you're
talk, they're not
getting,
even close.
he had a hard time with Cena a little bit because Cena, I'll be honest, man,
Because Cena can fire back, right?
Cena's, if not, I won't say he's better, but I think he's just as good with the stick with his style and the way he would deliver.
John Cena's just as good on the
Right.
stick. Yeah.
So you know, you take a look at those two guys. He really fumbled with Cena, but then again, that Rock was dealing with a PG kind of crowd, and he was very limited to what he could say or how he could express himself. But what we saw on
because
Friday,
Vinny wouldn't let Rock bury Cena. He can only say
right,
certain things, right?
right. But what we saw on Friday was a Rock that was insulting people in the crowd. He called this guy a fatty, which is something you never hear anymore. So that was refreshing because I'm sure that guy probably went home very sad.
The last guy I heard somebody calls me fat was Ric Flair. He's like, I could take any woman home, including that fatty. That was in TNA like 7-8 years ago, or whatever it was.
Right. But it's cool. So I mean, you got Rock in his natural element. So let's see how this plays out. I mean, you got, you know, something's happening at the Elimination Chamber. I'm sure they're all going to be there for that. And then we'll see how this kind of leads into WrestleMania. But I have a feeling something coming out of that's going to lead to a match at WrestleMania Night 1, which is going to make things a little bit more confusing again. So the question remains, will Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes do double duty on WrestleMania weekend?
I hope not. I think that's too much. I got to say one thing about The Rock. When you hear guys like Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes crying, complaining about Lesnar and Rock, and then The Rock comes back, he's a part-timer, he gets all these things. Well, look at the guy. He can out-talk all of you guys. He looks better than all of you guys. And the guy's in his early 50s. You guys are in your mid-30s. There's no excuse for this. So work harder and do better to get to his level.
I think a lot of it has to do with storyline. I don't think behind the scenes they think that way for the most part. Maybe a little bit, but not for the most part.
Well, they do.
Oh, let's see. All right. Raw.
All wrestlers are jealous and all wrestlers are bitter. They all want that spot in the money. It's all about the money.
I get it. But once you come to a certain age and you understand why these guys come in, then you know no one complains when they look at their checks.
Everybody wants that number one spot. They want that spot.
I get it. But no one complains when they look at their checks after WrestleMania when a guy like The Rock or Stone Cold comes on the show, right?
No, I know, but they want that spot.
Who wouldn't though? I mean, we want that spot.
Yeah,
in our world,
guys are something special, right? That's the thing. These other guys don't get.
Yeah, well, that's the world of pro wrestling, my friend. Okay, so Raw, we start off with Cody and Drew McIntyre having their match. Really good match, great opener, solid. I know you're not a huge fan of the Cody movement or him in the ring per se, but you know, I thought both guys worked really, really well together.
It was not a bad match.
I think the ending was perfect because they kept both guys really strong. Cody losing his first match now since WrestleMania defeat.
The one thing I did like how Raw started out, because usually you see a big promo for 20 minutes, half an hour. It was a good match. One thing that I really noticed in that match is a couple things. How much quicker, I know Drew's way better, how much stronger Drew is, how much of a better wrestler Drew is technically than Cody is. I just noticed that Cody, he's a good wrestler, but he does everything average. There's nothing that when he wrestles that stands out. Yeah, he's got a good character. He's over. But as far as his in-ring work, I thought Drew outshined him in that match.
I think Drew's in a position right now where he has to prove a lot. Because keep in mind, guys,
he's working hard, man.
He's not working with a contract.
Well, that's good because he's got a little fire under his butt. Because I've never seen Drew talk better and work better than he's doing right now.
After WrestleMania, he could technically show up on Dynamite if he really wanted to that Wednesday. Because he has nothing going on after that, right? Like in terms of contract. So the guy's working hard.
He's in the zone right now. Right now, of anybody, Drew's in that zone because he wants a big, and I get it. He wants a big payday. It's like NFL player. You're playing out of contract. You want that big payday. You play your best.
Yeah.
Right now, he's playing I think he's the best right now overall.
I get it. All right, so we had that match pretty solid. Jimmy and Solo come out, interfere, causing him to lose with the Samoan spike and the outside interference. So that kept Cody safe and that kept Drew safe. So neither guy really had to lose because I was kind of curious. This has to end somehow where, either it's a disqualification or there's interference because you can't have You know what I mean? And there has to be something there to make it look worthwhile. So that was the opening match. We get a promo of Gunther and Jay throughout the night. Just building up that match for the main event. Also on Raw, we got to see all 6 members or all 6 participants of the ladies' elimination chamber come out.
Yeah.
And a little war start out there. Now they had a battle royal as well to determine the last spot, and out came Raquel Rodriguez. We have not seen her in a very long time. Unfortunately, she's been dealing with some skin issues, some kind of rash or
Skin issues? I
something.
didn't know that. That's why she's been out, eh?
She's been out. She has a debilitating skin issue.
Ooh,
Like
I
it
didn't
was
know
just
that.
getting to the bones and things like that. So that's what actually kept her out of action.
A lot of that can be rolling around in those dirty wrestling matches. They're not sanitized, eh? I'm not saying that's what it was, but that can happen. The staph
But
infections and stuff, and it gets gross.
yeah, it could be that, or I think it was just something that she was just dealing with from before
Yeah.
as well. But I mean, it was kind of that. It's kind of like I've never had it, but people who tell me who've had it, shingles are the worst pain. So it could have been something similar to that. But anyways, it's good to see her back in the mix. I
Yeah.
was kind of missing her. She's kind of, it's
It's good to have her
unfortunate.
around.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, who would have known where the stories would have gone if she had stuck around or if she was healthy to stick around? Because at that point, they were kind of building her up where Nia was. You see how things just change all of a sudden, right? So, let's see where she goes from here. She's in the Elimination Chamber match now. So that kind of makes things a little bit interesting. I don't think she's going to win. But
No, she's
here's
not.
the thing that I thought was really interesting about this segment. Everyone keeps still talking about Rhea, not acknowledging Nia. Nia comes out and destroys all 6 women.
As she
Crazy.
should when she's that big. She's the Brock Lesnar that big. When you're that big, that stronger than everybody.
Right,
half
right.
a foot taller than these women, and I like how they're using her. They're booking her really well.
No, absolutely. So then we get to the main event. I'm just running through Raw here. I mean, there was a lot that happened there. We could talk about very quickly. Hopefully, this story is officially over. Gable finally beat Ivar, so maybe these guys are finally
Which I
done.
thought was actually a fairly good match, man.
No, it was a solid
Ivar
match.
doesn't get enough credit for a big man. He's pretty nimble on his feet.
No, he can move, no doubt, no doubt in hell. Like that man can move for a big man. The same for Bronson Reed, the same for Drew McIntyre. But just based on the pure girth,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
humanity of the man,
He gets
he's
his leg up
insane.
on the ropes and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he flips off the rope.
And Chad works well with him. Like they worked really well together. It was a very solid match. I just wanted to throw that in there. But to the main
I like
event
Chad
very
Gable.
quickly. Yeah, I like Gable a lot too. Moving on to the main event very quickly, we had Jey Uso versus Gunther. Pretty good match, man. I really enjoyed it. It was really
I always
solid.
enjoy anytime Gunther's out there. I enjoy the way he works. He's
Yeah.
big, strong, he's tough, he's mean, he's nasty. He looks like a bad guy.
And he can
You know what I
move.
mean? Like, yeah.
And he can work.
Gunther.
Right. And Jay looked really good as well. So they had a really, really solid match. And it looked like it was about to be over. But then the bell rings just as the referee's hand's going to go down to 3. And sure enough, there he is, man. Mr. Jimmy Uso ringing the bell, coming out there. But this is what they're working towards, right?
So, no, I know what they're doing.
So basically what happens here, he rings the bell. That confuses Jay. That confuses the ref. That gives Gunther enough time. Gets the knees up. Jimmy goes for another splash. Knees hit him. But the way they did it, it made sense, right? Because it was just he caught off guard, so the wind's taken out of him. So I had no problem with that roll-up combination to end the match. It looked real. It made sense. After the match, Jimmy comes in, splashes his brother a couple times, lets him know that he's the big brother. We're probably going to get Jimmy and Jay at WrestleMania, which is what they've always wanted. That's kind of like their kind of bucket list to be able to fight each other at WrestleMania. So the plan is.
And they wanted it more along the lines of a main event. It'll be a mid-card match at best. But
no, it'll be a mid-card match. But for them, it's the opportunity they've always wanted, right?
Yeah,
they've always wanted to fight each other. So this is perfect. We're going to get that match at WrestleMania. I don't know what day, but one of those 2 days, we'll probably get that match. All right, brother, man. That was Raw in a nutshell. So SmackDown was recorded last week after SmackDown was live because everyone's in Australia, so they're not going to do the show from there. So yeah, we'll leave that alone because I'm sure everyone can go online and just take a look at the results there and see how it all plays out. It's basically Raw, but in a 2-hour version with all the men coming out and stating their claims and running
Mhm.
buckshot on everyone. So that was that. But hey, why don't we break down and why don't we make our predictions for this Elimination Chamber? You ready? All
Let's do
right.
it.
Let's start with this match first because I think this is the match, and I know you're not a big fan of the ladies per se, but the reality is, I think this is probably the best built match that they have on this card. Rhea versus Nia Jax. When I mean that is just the way they've been building up both characters, the way they built up the storyline, the way they built up this match. I mean, it just looks like and Rhea's being completely dominated by her throughout this whole program so far. She hasn't she hasn't really gotten a lick on her. Nia's just been destroying her at every time they kind of come to pass. Um, but that being said, I kind of look at this match this way. I think Nia is just going to dominate, beat her up, and then Rhea's probably going to get her one shot in there, and she's probably going to win. So I
Oh,
pick
Rhea,
Rhea.
120%. I bet my life savings is winning. She's going to fight Becky at WrestleMania. This is the problem with the booking nowadays. It's too obvious. Something I hope, and I hope one of my predictions is wrong, and I hope they give us this crazy somebody wins that we don't think is going to win, spice up WrestleMania, because if all the favorites win, that's a boring pay-per-view, and it makes WrestleMania boring and predictable. But yes, you're right. Nia will beat the crap out of her, smash it around. Rhea will get a quick shot, maybe cheat, play dirty, win. Rhea 100% wins.
And it's kind of
No brainer.
interesting because you're going heel versus heel, right? So that should be an interesting dynamic as well to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match.
Makes me wonder if Dom plays a role in this at all.
Not sure. Either way, Rhea retains for sure.
Well, I mean, she returns for sure, but will it take having outside interference for her to win, which will keep Nia dominant, right? Which still keeps her in that WrestleMania kind of picture, so to speak, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if this is the case, and I'm going on a limb here. I'm booking it myself right now. If Rhea wins due to outside interference, even after how dominant Rhea was or how dominant Nia was throughout the whole match, that could be a triple threat at WrestleMania. Who knows, right? So
Maybe.
let's see. All right, let's go to the women's elimination chamber. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez. Wow.
Too
Interesting.
obvious. It's too obvious. Obviously, Becky is winning. She's going to go on to fight Rhea Ripley. I would like to see Bianca win, something like that. You know what I mean? But this has been building, like you've been saying before. It's building up for a while. The Becky versus Rhea. It's going to main event one of the night, one or night two. I'm not sure which one. Becky is going to win. No brainer again. And I hate saying that, but I don't see it going the other way. Who do you got in this?
Well, I mean, all roads lead to Becky Lynch. But like you said, if they want to twist something around here, and they've been doing a pretty good job of twisting stuff up a lot lately, right? I mean, considering what we were supposed to
I
get.
hope Becky doesn't. I don't enjoy Becky. I just maybe just her voice, the way she comes across. Just
But
I'm not saying she's not talented, but she's just
thank
I'm just
you.
not a huge fan of her.
Thank
I
you for
prefer
mentioning
Bianca.
that. Now, if you noticed last night on Raw, and I don't know if you paid attention to this or
I
not,
watched the whole promo. Yeah,
when they did the face to face with Rhea and Nia, you notice that Rhea sounds a lot like Becky in her delivery and the way she speaks. The only difference is she has an Australian accent, but she's not
absolutely.
far off from her delivery. She's not far off from the way she enunciates and the way she speaks and the words that she chooses. She's using
I thought Nia held it on in that promo. Saying I'm bigger than you, I'll squash you. Like I liked how Nia stayed big and strong. I thought she did good.
100%. All right, you know what? I'm gonna have fun with this. Okay, so you're saying Becky?
I don't want her to win, but yeah, she's gonna win. I want Bianca to win. I
So
like Bianca.
just to play devil's advocate, I'm gonna go Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right? Only because she's being quiet, she's being back, and if you really want to,
Well, she got that DUI charge. Wasn't she driving with weed in the car? No, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but I'm just saying she's going to. I don't think they're gonna let her win because it's got to embarrass them a little bit.
well, possibly, but you know what? Like I said, I mean, I wouldn't be
You
surprised.
don't never hire Liv Morgan and Usos as your drivers because you ain't gonna get very far.
There you go. I mean, if you really want to go off the board, maybe Tiffany Stratton, but I think she's too early in her career at the main roster to kind of get that spot. So, and Bianca, I don't know, I think she's going to end up doing something with on the other brand anyways. So it's going to be interesting to see here what they do. But yeah, you know what? Becky should win this match, but I won't be surprised if someone else does. And if that is someone else, I like it to be Liv Morgan. That's just me.
Yep.
All right. Men Elation Chamber. Elimination Chamber match. This one's really interesting. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul. All roads lead to Drew McIntyre winning this.
What a solid group of guys. I wouldn't have Kevin Owens in there. I know why they're putting him in there. He's going to beef with Logan Paul. They'll have their match at Mania. But in this yes, Drew will win. But in this Elimination Chamber match, they'll start a feud. I think this is where you're going to see LA Knight and maybe Orton at WrestleMania. Something they'll turn each other. They'll screw at each other in the match. You're going to see that feud building. If I was booking myself, I'd like Orton to win. He just came back. He looks good. He's hot. But you could just tell right now it's Drew's time. Like I said, he's in the zone, the promos. He's working hard. He looks amazing. Drew's going to get it. But this match is going to be great. The talent in this match is off the chain. Logan's going to do something crazy, flying around. I mean, but Drew's going to take it.
Yeah, I think so as well. And you know what? I don't know if we're going to get a Randy Orton LA Knight. I almost have a feeling that AJ is going to come and interfere and do something to LA Knight, because that seems to be more of the storyline that they're going with.
Maybe the triple threat it with those three.
Possibly, right? Because those three kind of been going around in a circle
together.
Speaking
of LA Knight, I kind of feel bad for the guy. You know, he's an older guy. He just finally got popular at 40. And all of a sudden, here comes Rock. Here comes the Cody Crybabies. Here comes Orton. He kind of was the most popular guy. He's kind of fizzled down a little bit.
But yeah, but the same could have been said for Sammy and Kevin Owens this time last year too, right? And the Usos. I mean, that's the beauty of wrestling. And you know, I said this, and guys, I implore you to go back to look at our WrestleMania preview shows. And this is what I said then, and I'll say it again. You can gauge wrestling from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, and it's completely different from each show, because the things that you kind of expect, it's almost like the reset button at that point, right? So you know, the guys that were on top of the world, you think, okay, great, they're there. But here we are, and now there's a different group of guys that are in those same spots that you know, Sammy and Kevin and the Usos were in. So that's the beauty
Speaking of Elimination Chamber, I don't know if you've listened to it, but I've been listening to it a little bit, and it's a great podcast. It's Logan Paul's podcast. He's had Seth on there. He's had John Cena on there. He's had Triple H on there, and he asks good questions. And
impulsive, right?
Impulsive. That's what it's
called. No, it's not bad. He gets all the guys on there, and he asks the serious
questions.
Easy
when you work with the guys to get him on, but he's pretty good at that.
Yeah. But the one guy that, you know, it's kind of curious, because both these guys have been in the arena at the same time, but for reasons, unfortunately, there are legit reasons. But The Rock will have nothing to do with Logan Paul.
Why?
Huh?
It just for the story, or in real life?
In real life.
Why?
Well, they were close. They were about to do things together, but then all that stuff happened with Logan in Japan, showing all the dead bodies in the forest hanging from the trees and whatnot, and that just kind of turned them off. And
okay, so that was a bad move on Logan Paul. He was young as a kid. Yeah, Rock will stand and shake Mike Tyson's hand. I mean, so the guy is a hypocrite.
Go figure.
That's what I mean. So this is a problem with The Rock. And that whole remember when him and Oprah said donate to Hawaii? Dude, you're almost a billionaire. Put some of your own money down too. Don't expect us. We will, but you need to pay too.
Yeah, but I think him, Oprah, and a few other people were the ones lighting the fire. I know that's a conspiracy theory, but I mean, you know, I don't
know what you're saying. Well, whether it or not, like, I get it. You want everybody to help and donate, and that's fine. We will. But you guys just said we've donated $200,000. We donated $1 million. You guys are almost billionaire. Oprah is a billionaire. Rock is damn close. And so this is kind of why I don't mind a little bit how some of the fans are kind of booing The Rock, because he's done a lot of silly things, you know, nothing bad, but it's like hypocritical things over the last few years. And the Black Adam movie bombed. So some people are getting tired of his little stick, so to speak. And like, so you don't like Logan Paul? What Logan Paul did was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I get that. He was a young kid being stupid. But Mike Tyson and Stone Cold done a lot worse than Logan Paul's ever done.
Hey, man.
And he's their buddies.
I can't disagree with you. But then again, you know, it just goes around. The people that get in trouble and the people they shake hands with, I mean, that can be said across the board with so many people, right? I totally hear you. But I just thought it was interesting because they were both.
I didn't know that about The Rock wouldn't be around.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Go back and listen to the Cena interview. He mentions it there as well, but I knew this from before. He's talked about, Logan Paul has talked about it before, and he wants so bad for The Rock to forgive him. It's interesting. Check it out, man.
Yeah,
go back and find it. I'll find the clip for you, and I'll send it to you after the show.
Rock will forgive people that rape people and beat the crap out of their wives, but don't show a bad video. Well, he will hate you. Like, come on, dude.
Well, I mean, if you think about, look at his upbringing. He's got brothers and sisters that he's only figuring out now because his dad on the road. You know what I mean? So I mean, you come from that culture, you're okay with it. anything that you're not used to out of your culture, you're gonna,
True.
shoot
True.
them and be like this, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, and back to the Hawaii thing, Oprah, Jeff Bezos, all these guys are billionaires, billionaires, billionaires. Between the three of them, they could
They
have
could
reaped
pick up
out,
that bill, but they're asking us
they
to
could
pick
have
up the
picked up
bill.
the bill and it wouldn't even put a dent.
Oh, so you're giving you $5, dude.
Exactly. Exactly. This is why I'm enamored by Elon Musk more and more and more.
Oh, I love the man. Love the man. Brilliant
Right?
man. Love Elon.
Elon Musk,
He has a great sense of
Jordan.
humor. He's actually quite a silly guy. Actually, he's got a good sense of humor. Goose
What I
around a lot.
like about Elon is that he will listen to people. Go back and watch this video that he's on. Like, he was talking, he was at SpaceX and he was talking to the media, and this guy said, "Hey, why don't you guys try this with the rockets coming down?" And he stopped. That's a good idea. I'll check it out.
Mhm.
And sure enough, they took that guy's idea and applied it to the program. So he's
Yeah,
willing to listen. That's what I
that's
like
the
about
thing.
Elon
He's a
Musk.
reasonable guy. Even if he doesn't like you or agree with you, he'll let you to say what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly. But he'll also tell you, no, I don't agree with this, and explain why. Whereas most people, and even parents, they don't tell their kids why they're in trouble.
They just say no.
They say,
Yeah,
no, go to your room. If we actually explain to our children why they're in trouble or what this means by doing these things, I think our kids and our parents would have better relationships and more cohesiveness.
absolutely.
All
Totally
right.
agree with you.
We totally off topic here, but let's get back to
So
it.
we're both going with Drew.
Pardon?
We're both saying
I
Drew
think we're
for
both
elimination.
going with Drew. Yeah, it has to be Drew. But here's the problem, and I'll get to that in a minute after this. Okay. Let's
Okay.
get through this quickly though. Undisputed tag team championships, like, not much has really been done with this, not much has really been promoted. Maybe we'll see a little bit on the pre-tape SmackDown. But we're basically getting Judgment Day versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I
Judgment Day
think,
retains.
huh?
Judgment Day
Yeah,
retains.
Judgment Day will probably take it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put it on the other guys. If we're looking for a surprise, this might be it.
I hope so. You know, they're young enough. They need to get their chance to build their brand up.
Yeah,
So hopefully, I wouldn't mind seeing the title change here.
possibly, and I think that's where it might happen. You know what? That being said, I think I'll switch. I'll go Bait and Dunn.
Done.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope so. I think Judgment Day wins, but I'm cheering for those guys.
For sure. The Grayson Waller effect with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. And now, before we go there, there's one segment on Raw that I forgot to mention that should be mentioned. They go backstage, Cody sitting there holding his throat, trying to clear it, feel better. Doctors leave the room. Seth comes in, doesn't say a word, just looks at him. Cody looks at him. Yeah. Whatever Seth told him before, like, these guys are going to come after you. They're going to attack you. They're going to do this and that. You need some help. That's him acknowledging it. So these guys are going to be on the Grayson Waller effect show.
I'm not sure why. Like, I love Grayson Waller. I think he's hilarious. But why are they doing Seth and Cody again? We know Cody's fighting The Rock. So what's the point of having them keep chatting with each other? Because every time they get in the ring, they start crying together. And you notice last night that Seth was in, I don't know if they showed it on TV, but he was in Becky's change room and he grabbed Becky's shirt and then he came out for Raw. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
The polka dot see-through shirt.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, I guess I'm just taking a look here right now. So we got Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax. We got that. We got the Women Elimination Chamber. We got the Men's Chamber. And basically, that's the card, bro.
Tag team match in the Grayson Waller effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad Grayson Waller, obviously from Australia, needs to be out there. They're gonna love him. But why Seth and Cody? This is done. We already know it's Cody and Rock.
Because it's all the build. You want to know why I think it's going to happen this way? Because this, and you're going to probably disagree with this, and this is why I said at the beginning of the show, will we see Seth and Cody and Roman all doing double duty for WrestleMania? Because I have a feeling, in order to get The Rock on the card, because he's going to be in the corner, I almost have a feeling you're going to get Cody and Seth as a tag team on night one against Roman and Rock on night one. And what I think,
you could be right.
here, let me play it out. So what's going to happen here is you're probably going to get Cody and Seth maybe winning that match somehow. I don't know, by disqualification or by interference, but that's going to rub Rock the wrong way, or The Rock will get pinned if he's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to lead to something where I have a feeling that when we get to night two, The Rock may just turn on him then and create something.
Cost him the belt, maybe.
And cost him the belt where Cody wins. So I mean, it's all storylines. Like, I mean, like this is it. We're building up to something else. So I think this is just another cog in this story that they're building up, and that is the biggest story in wrestling right now. So yeah, man. I mean,
Yep.
here we go. Elimination Chamber.
Too bad. Why? I don't understand. I understand why Kevin Owens Elimination Chamber match, but for Logan Paul, but Austin Theory needs to be on this card, man. He's young, he's strong. They don't use him enough. They don't use him well, and they're wasting his talent. He's young. He's got to work. He's in better shape than 90% of these guys are.
Well, I mean,
Just,
he
I don't know.
lost a lot of steam after Vince left. So,
Well, that's what it is. That's exactly how it works in wrestling.
but let's see what they do. Like I said, I'm sure they still have faith in him. They're just not sure what to do with the kid right now because, again, all the people coming back, all the different directions, the Cody Crybabies, this and this, right? I mean, it all. I'm sure he'll be there in Australia beside him because him and Grayson are kind of a tag team right now, right? I mean, if anything,
Yeah,
maybe
he might come on and do something, but
maybe
nobody can do a drop kick like Austin Theory. He get the height
no,
he gets is impressive.
no. I look at it this way, okay? What I can predict happening, and this can happen before May, I look at maybe Dunn and Bates winning the tag team titles and then having those two take it off of them and having a bit of a run with it, building them up. And then we'll see
I
where
would
these
like to
guys
see a
go.
faction that are actually like guys that are in shape and actually good workers for a change instead of all these like I'm not trying to be rude, but little guy out of shape factions. Why don't we go Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and Grayson Waller team up, make a super crew, and let those young guys, athletic guys, built guys, get at it? You know what I
If
mean?
you think about it, they already kind of have seed
They
planted
kind of have
for
a little
that,
bit of
right?
something building there, right?
So you got that happening as well. So like I said,
Because
who
Logan can
knows?
make those guys stars outside of the ring with the prime and hanging out and all that, chilling out and stuff, right?
And that probably might likely happen here, right? Like I said, I mean, he's kind of been in cahoots with those two anyways. They've kind of helped him win and retain as well. So I mean, they're out there. There's something brewing. Watch, something will happen there with them eventually. But like you said, man, you said it yourself. I mean, with all the stuff that's kind of happened in the last 2 months, is totally changed the direction that they probably wanted to go with everything, right? And it just doesn't affect one guy. It starts to affect him. It starts to affect her.
Yeah, AJ Styles isn't on Elimination Chamber. Sami Zayn's not on it. So not every.
Right.
There's only a certain amount of spots on the card.
Exactly, right? So you look at where Sammy was exactly. You look at where Sammy was last time or last year, this time at Elimination Chamber. He
Dude,
was
I was there. It was insane
right.
how popular he was.
And this
Now
year
look,
he's
this guy's
not on
name
the card, right? So you're probably going to see him in a number 2, number 3 match, night 1 or 2 against Shinsuke just to get on the card, sort of a deal. I think the path is already set for Owens. He's going to fight Logan Paul, but keep in mind these two guys were the biggest story after night 1, and now they're second or third matches. So it just shows you things change on a dime, right? And it just shows you the power of a real superstar coming in and shaking all of it up. All right, brother man, we've
Oh yeah, no, I'm glad the Rock's back. He's bringing in the casual guys, and people are talking about it. So he's doing what he's supposed to do.
100%. Okay, we've jibber jabbed pretty much for quite a bit here. So let's let everyone process our thoughts. Guys, let us know your predictions. Who do you think is going to win these matches? Who do you think is going to go on to WrestleMania? And yeah, let us know in the comments. We really, really want to know what you guys think. All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday. We have one SmackDown pre-taped. Probably find out who already won. And then we go straight to the Elimination Chamber. My advice to you, keep your phones off. Turn your notifications off. That's all you really have to do. Turn off your notifications. And if you're really, really desperate and don't want to know, eliminate your apps. Just eliminate the apps that you use to give you your information. And have a good rest. Wake up and enjoy this with some breakfast. I'll be honest, I will probably try to stay up because I'm just that kind of fool. But then again, actually, I probably will not stay up because, you know what? We'll figure it out. How about you? You're gonna watch it live, or you're gonna wake up the next morning?
No, I'll PVR it. Yeah.
All right.
PVR it.
I just realized 2:00 Saturday morning. I probably wouldn't be in my best interest. I have to work Sunday morning.
You'd be a tired guy if you do.
Well, I mean, yeah, work can get heavy sometimes, so you never know, right? So I think we will just watch this on Sunday as well. So guys, gals, I'm Bobby Sampson. He is Mr. Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And everybody, guys, girls, it's Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week. We're coming off a long weekend here in British Columbia.
And then America, President's Day.
And President's Day. But this is the funny thing. Family Day back east is on a different day.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we get ours this day. I'm not sure. Just
I don't know. Anyways, on that note, guys, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay healthy. Get some rest and enjoy this Elimination Chamber matchup on Sunday morning, guys. Samp and Chance, we are out.